Yes. Yes. No, no, no. Holmes can't be sitting in there by himself pouring his own tea. He needs a companion. Yes, that's it. But who? Yes, come in.
Afternoon, Senor Doyle. I was just on my way out, and I'm wondering if you like anything from the market.
No, thank you, Miss Hudson. I'm quite all right. Wait a minute. That's it. The widow, Mrs. Hudson, from downstairs, entered the room, bringing Holmes his afternoon tea.
Hola, Senor Holmes.
No, she can't be Mexican. She must be British, of course.
Good day, Mr. Holmes.
Still not right. She must be old. That's it.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Excuse me, has it been a minute yet?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Hudson. I was wrapped up in my novel.
I see. Is this the one about the detective man?
Yes, Stephen Holmes.
I don't like his name. Are you sure I can't get anything for you?
No, thank you.
Sure.
Perhaps I should make her deaf.
No cases to study, Mr. Holmes?
No.
What do you say?
I said no.
Go? But I just got here.
Forget it, you old bat.
No, I haven't seen the cat.
How can I live in a city that's riddled with crime and yet have no case?
What's the matter with your face?
I said case.
No case then. Well, I'm sure something will come up soon. Maybe then you can get out of this empty room.
Well, it's not as empty as I like.
You know what I was thinking last night?
Nope, and I don't care.
I was laying in my bed, staring up at the stars.
Impossible! If you were laying in your bed staring at the stars, that means someone had stolen your ceiling.
I was thinking of my childhood dog.
Oh God, please give me a case so this conversation would cease to exist.
He was a stubborn little thing. Poor little thing only had 3 legs.
What did you call him? Tripod?
No, we named him Lucky.
Of course you did. Completely illogical.
Still, it could have been worse. My neighbor had a dog with no legs. Don't remember its name.
It doesn't matter what you call it can't come to you.
What?
I said, light travels faster than the speed of sound, which is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak.
You always say the funniest things, Mr. Holmes.
Indeed, and if I were to agree with you, we'd both be wrong.
Good evening, Mrs. Hudson, Stephen.
Evening, Dr. Pepper.
It's frightfully cold out there, lots of smog too.
Really? First you greet us with good evening, and then proceed to tell us why it isn't?
Could I get you anything, Dr. Pepper?
Yes, I'll have a tea.
Toilets down the hall.
No, I meant tea.
I see you took a stroll down the park to get here.
I say, Holmes, how did you... Wait, did you see a grass stain on my suit or something?
No, I saw you come out of the park from my window.
Right.
But how are your powers of deduction? Have they improved?
I think so, old boy.
Really? What can you tell me about this old watch?
Well, let's see. The watch has many scratches on it, which means that the owner is pretty reckless. The watch is cheap, which shows that the owner has little to no money or class. The strap on the watch has been replaced more than once, which shows that the owner continuously breaks it, which would lead me to assume that the owner is somewhat dumb.
Very good.
Thank you. Whose is it?
Yours. You left it here yesterday.
Tea, Dr. Pepper.
Yes, please, Miss Hudson.
Top up, Stephen. Hola, I'm back, Senor Doyle.
Great. It's not as if I was in the flow of my writing or anything.
You know, the strangest thing happened.
Really?
See, I could have sworn I brought my purse, but looked at my bag, it wasn't there.
Perhaps Stephen isn't the right name for Holmes.
But as luck would have it, I found a shilling on the floor.
I need a strong first name.
So I could pay for my bread. It was sheer luck.
Sherlock! That's it!
No.
Yes!
Top up, Sherlock. I bought some groceries. Perhaps you would like some?
No, thank you, Mrs. Hudson. I would rather staple my...
Sausage?
I'm busy.
Doctor, how's your fiancée, Mary?
She's quite well, thank you.
What?
She's very well, thank you.
Perhaps you would like something else, Senor Doyle.
That's nice. She reminds me of a
Carrot?
Yes, we are planning on a short getaway next week to a little place called...
Turnip?
Oh, after all, she reminds me of a
Tart?
Yes, well, she's always been fond of mine.
Nuts?
Miss Hudson, I'm trying to write this novel.
I'm sorry, I was only trying to help.
Listen, I did not mean to be rude. I'm sorry. It's just...
Perhaps you need a cup of tea.
Yes, thank you. Right, where was I? Ah, yes.
Stephen? Sherlock? I was thinking we should go down to the newspaper.
The newspaper, what is it?
Well, a newspaper is a printed publication which consists of news and articles.
Yes, I'm aware of that. What I meant to say is, why shall we pay a visit to the newspaper?
Oh, see. Well, I thought maybe we could go down there and tell them about our case, and maybe they could publish one or two.
And why on earth would we do that?
Well, it will make for some interesting reading.
People confuse what they read on newspaper with actual news.
Surely not.
Don't call me Shirley.
I wonder who could that be?
It's Inspector Lestrade.
That's remarkable, Holmes. Wait, let me guess. You could tell it was him by the creak sound of his shoe.
No, he told me he was coming in today.
Hello there, Mr. Holmes.
No, he's too rough. How about...
Top of the morning to you, Mr. Holmes.
No, that's not going to work either. Maybe if...
Howdy, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, perhaps if I...
Guten Morgen, Mr. Holmes.
No. Maybe just keep it simple.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes.
Have you brought another case?
Yes, I bought this yesterday. But I also have a crime under investigation that you might be interested in.
A crime? What is it?
A crime is an offense, punishable by law.
Yes, I know that. What I meant to say is, what is in the makings of this case?
I think it's leather.
No. What is in the case?
Nothing much, just some paperwork and, oh, my lunch.
What is the crime about?
Oh, you're talking about the case. Well, it's about a missing person.
Inspector Lestrade. I didn't hear you come in. Tea?
Yes, please.
What?
I said yes, please.
No, I haven't seen your keys.
The missing person you were saying?
Yes, it's a Mr. Hugo Baskerville.
Ah, the Baskervilles of Baskerville Hall.
You know of him, Holmes.
I do indeed. He is a nobleman, a lord, an aristocrat.
Oh, what?
He's a man of royalty, in his early 30s, with a mustache, about 6'3".
That's a big mustache.
When did he go missing?
About 2 months ago.
I see.
Tea?
No, I said...
Do you have any pictures?
Many, mainly oil paintings. My wife loves landscapes.
Do you have a picture of Mr. Baskerville?
Oh, I see.
Tea!
Thank you.
Oh, good God.
Yes, he was disfigured a long time ago in a polo game, thrown off his own horse.
I thought this was the horse.
It looks like his face caught on fire and someone tried to put it out with a hammer.
Yes, and if my face looked like that, I'd teach my ass to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a picture of my wife. Here you go.
Ah, yes. Nasty looking chap.
Yes, horrid.
There was an envelope sent to the residence.
And what was in the envelope?
A blackbird feather and a letter. We sent it to Scotland Yard. They're demanding £1 million.
Why would Scotland Yard demand £1 million? Oh, yes, I get what you...
The blackbird feather is no doubt a raven's feather. This sort of bird is commonly associated with death. But my question to you, Inspector Lestrade, is if this person has been missing for over a month, why did it take you so long to come to me?
Tea?
No, I said...
Well, she didn't report the person missing until 2 days ago.
She?
Tea!
Who filed the missing persons report?
Mr. Hugo Baskerville's lady friend, Irene Adler.
Irene Adler, familiar.
No, just Irene Adler.
This case just became more intriguing.
I agree. It's not just the texture, but the shape.
It appears we are being watched.
Watched?
Yes, out on the corner of the street.
Where? What do you think he wants?
This remains to be seen.
Let me have a look.
How long do you think he's been there?
That is not important. What is important is, however, why he is here. That is the key.
Tea?
No, I said
So, Mr. Holmes, do you think you can solve this mystery?
piece of cake.
No, thank you. I've already eaten.
Rest assured, Mr. Holmes and I will find your missing person.
Yes, and you finally be able to rest your case.
Thank you.
No, I think Holmes meant...
Never mind, Dr. Pepper. Everyone has the right to be stupid. He's just abusing his privilege.
Well, I guess I'll be off, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Pepper.
No, the name's not right. Doctor.
Senor Doyle, are you there?
Yes, still here.
I brought you some tea.
Oh, thank you.
It's very cold in here.
Doctor.
You should close your curtains. It'll help keep the heat in.
No, I like to see the sun, Doctor.
Watson?
Watson. Dr. Watson. Yes.
Well, I guess I'll be off, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson.
Leaving so soon, Inspector Lestrade?
Yes, I have to head back to my wife.
Knife? There you go.
I wouldn't mind having a little cake.
It's too cold for the lake.
Well, my dear Watson, I suggest you begin packing.
To Baskerville Hall?
Yes, indeed, Watson. The game is afoot.
Plot thickens. Now we go into Act 2.
Senor Doyle, the window is open in the hallway. It's so windy.
Then try closing it. Now where was I? Ah, yes. Holmes and Watson sat on the train bound for the village of...
I can't shut the window. It's
The village of...
broken.
Yes, the village of Broken...
Wind.
Holmes and Watson sat on the train bound for the village of Broken Wind.
G-R-A something something. 5 letters across. It's green and often found in football pitches. G-R-A something something. Ah, grandstand.
Grass, Watson. It's grass.
Oh, yes, of course. Now let's see here. 4 letters, something O-S-E. It's red, it smells, and it's often picked in the garden. Something O-S-E. Nose.
Rose! It's a rose! Really, Watson, what you lack in intelligence, you more than make up for in stupidity.
Now, Holmes, you might not all have your powers of deduction, but doesn't mean we don't have skills.
Really? Most people live and learn. You just live.
Now, seriously, Holmes, I'm not just gonna sit here and...
Idiot.
What? Are you trying to call...
5 down, a word that starts with an I, that means dim-witted.
Oh, yes, you're right. For a moment there, I thought you were calling me a...
Monkey.
What?
6 across, a medium-sized primate.
Right, you're right again, Holmes. What a sharp eye you have.
Don't mention it. Hippo?
Hippo? Where's that?
Is sitting opposite me.
Ah, wait, what?
Excuse, gentlemen. Would you mind if I sat in there with you? The other carriages are very crowded.
Not at all, milady.
Why, thank you so much.
I'm Dr. John Watson, and this is Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, as in the detective from Baker Street?
Yes, the very same.
I've read about your cases in the newspaper.
Oh, you have? Hear that, Holmes? Now, would you be interested to not just read about our case, but have a story from beginning to end with all the action and adventure?
Yes, of course that would be most entertaining.
See, I told you, Holmes.
So, what brings you so far outside of London? Is it case?
Oh, we're not at liberty to say.
Yes, it's a case.
Sounds exciting.
Well, it can be, I mean.
Watson, do you mind getting some tea for us all?
Yes, I saw some tea and snacks going on trolley around. Would you like anything to eat?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Holmes, would you like some tea?
Yes, splendid idea.
It is. Perhaps a bite to eat. Toast?
Sure.
Toast it is. White or brown?
All toast is brown, you're thinking of bread.
Oh, yes. I suppose I am. I'll just be a minute.
Please be longer. I didn't catch your name.
I didn't throw it.
Touché. So, shall we begin?
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Holmes.
Missing something? Now, where do we start?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I beg to differ. You came into this carriage expecting how little space there was left in the other cabins. Yet, the train is not even half full. You position yourself right opposite me, making sure you are out of harm's way for when the gunman entered.
This is a mistake.
Your impeccable timing was planned for the next tunnel ahead to shroud the gunman in darkness. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
I got us all some tea and sandwiches.
Why'd you try to kill me?
Who would like the egg salad?
I'm not saying.
Well, I can't exactly guess.
Who hired you?
But you did want to eat.
I don't remember.
Well, I do. Come on, what about a tuna?
You don't expect me to buy that?
But I already paid for it.
Are you arresting me?
So who's buying this?
What's the charge?
2 shillings.
What are you trying to do, insult me?
Okay, 1 shilling. The tea's on me.
I was just at the wrong place, at the wrong time.
Ham and cheese, anyone?
You don't expect me to swallow that?
Right. I'll eat it, but I don't think it's fair that I should pay for it.
Where did you come from?
Where should I put the teas?
Manchester.
It's quite far away.
I'm not saying another word.
I bought this new tie. What do you think?
Hot!
Stop it, Holmes. You're making me blush.
Now, for the last time, who hired you?
Where did she go?
Not to fear, my dear Watson. Our paths will undoubtedly cross again. Come now, old chap. This is our stop.
Where are my plot pages? Without them, I have no motive, no murder weapon. Never mind. Suppose I'll just find them later. Right, now where was I? Ah, yes, the stagecoach.
They said the stagecoach will be here in about 5 minutes and will take us all the way to Baskerville Hall.
Very good, Watson.
Yes, well, it wasn't very easy. The night guard was hardly any help at all. Who? The night guard. It's a small village here and I feel like someone is watching us. Exactly. You asked the right questions, Holmes. I mean, this entire case is wrong. When did we ever deal with a missing person? You go Baskerville, that's who. Something's not right, and I promise you I will find out who is behind this. I suspect we'll find out more when we arrive at Baskerville Hall just as soon as this coachman arrives. They didn't tell me his name.
I see the coachman hasn't
I
arrived
just
yet.
said, good heavens, what have you got there?
I noticed something blowing in the bushes over there, and then I noticed the hair.
Are you sure? Could have been a rabbit.
A wig of hair, Watson.
Right.
Do you notice anything strange?
Well, I noticed a mole that's been growing on my left thigh the other day.
About the wig, Watson! Do you notice anything strange about it? It's the same hair as our mystery lady on the train. She must have dumped it, which means...
She's bald.
No! It means...
She has no care for the environment.
No! It means this must be her stop too.
Right. Sounds like stagecoach is coming. Said the stagecoach.
Yes, I heard you, Watson.
Right. Here he is. The stagecoach.
I know!
Are you lot ones wanting to go to Baskerville Hall?
That's right, my good man.
Really?
Yes, really.
Right. Well, we better be off then.
This fellow doesn't seem quite right, Holmes.
Perhaps.
Ready?
Yes, We are ready. I'd say, my good man, how long is the ride to Baskerville Hall?
There's only one route to Baskerville Hall. Now we can't rush. There's many walks on the road.
Are you the only stagecoach in town?
Yes, sir. It's a really small town.
Do you happen to know of Mr. Hugo Baskerville?
Ah, yes. Many years now, I would see him riding.
Riding?
Yes, riding his horse.
Yes, riding.
And when was this?
Last Friday.
And you know where he was going?
No, it was raining with rumbling thunder, so I ran into Regency Inn to recover.
Go on.
After removing my wet clothes and placing them on the rack, I recognized Mr. Baskerville racing past, scaring the rabbits, roosters, and rats, all while risking his life as he rode.
Are you getting any of this, Holmes?
Just about. Continue.
He was wearing a rugged red hat with a blue ribbon around it, holding a lasso rope and a rifle. I reckon he was late.
Late or being chased?
Rubbish! What rascal would chase after him?
Indeed. This doesn't make any sense.
None of this makes any sense.
Anything else?
I remember removing my rotten apples from the cart, refilling the water, and replacing the coal in the fire as a request from Robert and Rachel.
Robert and Rachel.
Yes, Robert and Rachel. They work at the Regency Inn. It's received some good reviews. Ah, here we are. Baskerville Hall.
Thank you, my good man. You've been most helpful.
Honestly, the weather here is worse than London. Rain? What's next?
Rainbows.
Couldn't understand a word he said. It all sounded like a load of...
Doyle! Senor Doyle!
Jesus!
No, it's just me.
What do you want?
I found this on the floor in the hallway. Are they yours?
Oh no, these are my notes!
They have blown everywhere. There is not enough women in this story. What if... See.
I told you to shut all the windows. Ugh. Right.
Did you find them?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, well, I go make lunch.
Right, now where was I? Ah, yes.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes is here to see you, Mom.
Oh, just give me a moment to freshen up. Could you ask the cook to fix up some tea, please?
Right this way, Detective. Milady will be with you shortly.
They are Holmes.
Ah, Watson. Glad of you to join. There's something different about you.
There's? Like what?
Just a couple of things.
Really? Well, I can't think what it could be. It's quite a big house, Holmes. You know, it reminds me of the gentleman club in our case of the sign of 4. Do you remember that? Just us men there.
Yes.
Detective Holmes. And Dr. Watson.
I hope we're not disturbing you in this late hour.
No, not at all. I was just doing some light reading. It's a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Miss Adler, are you the master of this household?
No, that will be Mr. Baskerville.
Ah, but he is missing, is he not?
Oh, yes.
Then, in his absence, would you not be the master?
Well,
What's the matter?
it's hard to say.
Is it otorhinolaryngologist? You see, the trick is to break up the word otorhino.
No, I mean, I can't believe Hugo's really gone.
You were close.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stand over here.
What do you think happened to Mr. Baskerville?
I don't know. Maybe an accident of some kind.
Well, as they say, accidents do happen close to home.
Then perhaps I should move houses.
Did he have any enemies?
No, not at all. Hugo is such a kind man, always helping out at the children's hospital. All that considering his own horrific facial wounds.
Indeed, and if laughter is the best medicine, his face must be curing the world.
If ugly were a crime, he'd get a life sentence.
Yes, and if you slap him, it'd be animal abuse.
When you two have quite finished.
Miss Adler, does anyone else stay in this house?
Yes, let's see. There's Mr. Blackwood. He's a good friend of Hugo's. He's been staying with us for a short while. And then there's the butler Jeeves and Maria the cook.
I shall want to see them all. Gather them immediately.
Jeeves, could you ask Mr. Blackwood and the cook to come to the drawing room, please?
Yes, Mom.
Tell me about yourself, Miss Adler.
What would you like to know?
Let's start with where you were born. I detect an accent.
I was born in America.
Which part?
My whole body.
And how did you and Mr. Baskerville meet?
Through a mutual friend, Early Bird.
Ah, morning, I assume.
Yes, Early E-Bird recommended we see Sandy Beach.
A seaside town.
No, that's our mutual friend. Her name is Sandy Beach.
Oh.
Go on.
That's when all of our clothes off.
Excuse me?
Oliver Clothes Off. He's Hugo's cousin.
Oh.
So the two of you became good friends from then on?
Yes, the moment I saw his huge ass.
What?
Huge ass. It's his best friend. It was him who helped bring our friendship together.
Oh.
So you mentioned friendship, but no romantic relationship whatsoever?
No, we're just friends. And that friendship grew stronger, especially when he promised he would see more butts.
His lawyer?
Yes, Mr. Seymour Butts. You know of Butts.
I do. I have read of butts. Very big and quite popular.
Oh yes, he started his career at IP Freely.
Ah, IP Freely. International People Freely. That's a French company, if I remember.
Yes, it's run by Jockstrap.
Come, Watson, you must know Jockstrap. He married the Russian singer.
Ivana Tinkle.
Ivana Tinkle. That was a mistake.
Why was it a mistake?
A mistake. That was her real name before she changed it.
But she died.
How long?
Yes, when? How long?
No, how long's the Chinese assassin? He killed her.
That's terrible. Why?
Ankle socks.
What?
And Cal socks. She hired how long? She was the mistress.
I'm confused.
Watson, you're a donkey.
Now, there's no need to insult me.
You read Don Key. He's the Russian war soldier. He's the key to this entire story. Really, Watson, I thought you would know this with you being a war veteran yourself.
Oh, yes, of course.
Idiot.
Who's that?
Nobody.
Oh. Wait, what?
Jeeves, where's Mr. Blackwood?
Tending to his boat. He will join us momentarily.
This is everybody.
No, that's Jeeves. We fired everybody 2 months ago.
I see. Jeeves, you're the butler here, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is it you do?
I bottle, sir.
And when's the last time you saw Mr. Baskerville before he went missing?
I'm not sure.
Can't you take a guess?
Maybe in the morning.
You can't take a guess until the morning.
You have to excuse my learned friend here. Dr. Watson is somewhat a waste of 2 billion years of evolution.
Now, pay no attention to Mr. Holmes and I. We always have this constant banter. In the end, you'll soon warm up to us.
Watson, I could not warm up to you even if you were on fire.
See? Banter.
Maria, isn't it?
Yes.
Bravo, Holmes. How do you come to this deduction?
From her name tag, Watson.
Oh,
And did you also last see Mr. Baskerville in the morning?
Yes.
And you never saw or heard anything out of the ordinary?
No.
Would you care to elaborate?
No.
But you can express more than simple words of yes and no.
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
What's your last name, Maria?
No.
That's correct. Maria, no.
Miss Adler, do you happen to know what blood group Mr. Baskerville was in?
Oh, I don't think he joined a gang.
No, what blood type is Mr. Baskerville?
A.
Aha!
No, I was saying A.
What blood type is Mr. Baskerville?
Oh.
Ah!
B.
What the?
So only you, Mr. Baskerville, and these two servants live here. Such a big house.
I know. Perhaps giants lived here before.
I think what Dr. Watson was trying to imply is that there are so few people that live in the estate, which by design is meant to house many.
Oh, there you are, darling. I missed you. I couldn't stop thinking about you all day today. I was at the zoo. This is Detective Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Mr. Holmes was giving me his thoughts on the word many, so thank you for explaining the word many to me. It means a lot. Anyway, they are here to help us solve the mystery of the disappearance of Hugo Baskerville. I told them already that I'm perfectly happy to solve my own problems. So, how do I prove them wrong?
Mr. Holmes, I've heard so much about you. And Dr. Watson. Your reputation precedes you, also. I trust your journey from London was long, tiresome, and uneventful.
Well, actually,
Quite
that
so,
was,
a most mundane journey.
except for the
Slow,
obvious-
dull trip.
No, but that was
Nothing
obvious.
out of the ordinary.
Well, apart from
Nothing
the-
unusual or interesting happened whatsoever.
Yes, quite boring, really.
When did you arrive here?
2 weeks ago.
Mr. Blackwood, do you suffer from some sort of rash?
No. Why'd you say that?
I noticed some pigmentation on the back of your neck, some reddening on the skin.
I was recently on holiday. Must have been some leftover sunburn. I hadn't noticed myself.
And how long have you known Mr. Baskerville?
Met at a fundraising function about 6 months ago and became good friends.
Strange. None of the press picked up on your friendship. After all, Mr. Baskerville's social life is often publicized. Being the wealthy bachelor he is, he tends to grab the headlines.
Well, as you will have heard, he was a private man. After his accident, he locked himself away.
Because of what happened to his face.
Yes.
So he couldn't face the outside world.
Yes, suppose he couldn't face facts.
Does his bedroom face the garden?
Anyway, detective, what do you suppose happened to Mr. Baskerville?
I do not suppose of anything. To assume is not to have all the facts, and I am all about the facts. Remove all other factors, and the one that remains must be the truth. So, when's the last time you saw Mr. Baskerville before he went missing?
Must have been about 2 months ago. I visited him on a trip to London.
And where was this?
London.
Ah,
And what did you do?
We had lunch together. Seafood.
really? What food did you see?
And how long have you known Miss Adler?
Not long, actually. I can't recall when we first met. Irene, can you remember?
Sometimes, but other times I do forget.
Anyway, the hour is late. Perhaps we should retire for the night?
But I'm still young. I'm not ready to retire.
Let's reconvene in the morning.
Yes, and we can also continue this conversation then. Jeeves, could you show Detective Holmes and Miss Watson to the guest room?
What the? Miss Watson? Miss Hudson.
Jeeves, please show Detective Holmes and Mr. Watson to the guest rooms.
Yes, Mom.
Good idea. Must admit, not feeling myself lately.
But of course, gentlemen, if you'd prefer a nightcap.
No, thank you. I don't wear them.
Right this way, Miss. Mr. Watson. Good night, Mr. Holmes.
Sleep well, Mr. Blackwood.
Sweet dreams, Mr. Holmes.
Sleep tight, Mr. Blackwood.
Have a good sleep, Mr. Holmes.
See you in the morning, Mr. Blackwood.
Nighty-night, Mr. Holmes.
Lights out, Mr. Blackwood.
Dream about me. Mr. Holmes.
time to ride the rainbow to dreamland, Mr. Blackwood.
Good night, gentlemen.
Senor Doyle, I've brought you some tea. Arthur?
Oh, sorry, Miss Hudson. My mind was wrapped up in thoughts.
About the book.
Yes. Excuse me.
You look very tired. Perhaps you should take a break.
No, I can't do that, Miss Hudson. I'm at a very crucial point in this story. I must admit, though, my eyes are not what they used to be.
Come, I shall help.
What are you doing?
You talk, I write.
No, but you could not possibly...
You talk, I write.
Right. I suppose my eyes could do with a bit of rest. But remember, you must write exactly as I say.
See.
Don't change anything, like turning Watson into a woman.
See.
Right. It was late, and although all seemed quiet and still about the house, nothing could have been further from the truth. Holmes stood smoking his pipe, gazing out of the window, looking across the courtyard. It was the witching hour, and Holmes had just returned from his investigation of the grounds of Baskerville Hall. He wiped his feet on the mat. I said mat, not cat.
Sorry.
A moment later, Irene walked in.
Come quietly.
I say, isn't it dark in here?
I don't know. I can't see.
Holmes!
Sherlock!
You're both right.
What are you doing wandering about in the dark?
I could ask the same thing of you, Mr. Blackwood.
Well, I came to get a drink. I was thirsty.
Very well. And you, Miss Adler?
I came to watch him get a drink.
There, you see? Now, what about you?
Very well. I was here to examine the body.
What body?
That body.
I heard screaming.
Maybe it should be the butler dead and not the maid.
What?
There's too many men in this story.
Listen, I've got the entire plot worked out in my head. Just keep to the story I'm telling.
All right.
Is she dead?
Well, with the lack of breathing, movement, pulse,
So, answer the question, is she dead or not?
I believe so.
Oh, I heard screams. Is everybody...
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, very glad of you to join us, Watson.
Good God.
Where?
Is she dead, Holmes?
Well, I hope so. After all, you fell on her.
That means the murderer must be here.
Is that possible?
It is more than possible. It is probable. Watson, being the good doctor you are, would you mind examining her body?
Yes.
The dead body, Watson!
Right.
Watson, your brain is like the four-headed elephant of India.
In what way?
In a way that it doesn't exist.
Oh.
Who could have done such a thing?
Many people, Miss Adler.
Well, thieves, serial killers, hitmen, ninjas, blacksmith, military, police, butchers, farmers, disgruntled lawyer, annoying neighbor, anybody. Really.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Blackwood, for that meaningless rant. But for now, I'm not interested in the who, but more the why.
Who's why?
No, Miss Adler, why is not a person, it's a motive.
Oh, I see. But do you think this motive person will tell us the reason why this happened?
I think that's exactly what it will tell us.
Then we better start looking for this motive. Perhaps it fell under the couch.
Dr. Watson,
No, I'm Dr. Watson. That's the maid.
what can you tell us about the body?
Well, a body is made of almost 99% of mass with 6 elements of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen,
I meant,
oxygen.
what can you tell us about the dead body?
Ooh, yeah, she's dead.
How did she die?
Well, I'm no expert, but I would say she was shot.
Very clever, Dr. Watson.
Yes, very clever indeed, considering A, we didn't hear a gunshot, and B, there's a knife sticking out of her back.
Oh, I thought she was just keeping it there because she had no pockets.
It looks like the knife has thrust into her trapezius muscle.
Yes, you're right.
Indeed. What can you tell us about the rope, Watson?
It's big and twisty.
Watson, you see everything, but you fail to reason from what you see. The knot used to tie her is none other than a bowline knot. This type of knot is commonly used by sailors, a boatman, like Mr. Blackwood.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Oh, yes, the bowline knot killed the maid?
When I arrived earlier this evening, Jeeves said that you will be along shortly as you were tending to your boat.
So?
So, I searched the entire premises and found no boats on the grounds.
So Blackwood's the killer.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Look, there's broken glass. That means the killer must have broken in through the window and killed Maria. See? It's none of us.
Ah, but the glass is on the outside, which means that the window was broken from the inside of the house.
But why kill the maid?
Take a closer look, Watson. Do you recognize her?
Oh, is she a celebrity?
Perhaps you need to look at her with this.
No, I still don't recognize her.
She's the lady from the train.
By Joe, you're right, Holmes.
But of course, the moment I entered Baskerville Hall, I noticed a thin strand of red hair on her head. My suspicions were correct. She was the lady from the train. This is why she kept her answers short. A simple yes or no in case I would identify her from her voice, no doubt.
I don't understand. What are you talking about?
Yes, I demand to know, if you don't mind telling us.
Perhaps we should reconvene in the morning. There's nothing we can do tonight. The coachman will come pick up the body in the morning, and I shall send a telegram to Scotland Yard alerting Inspector Lestrade.
Holmes, do you know who the killer is?
I have a hunch.
Well, I suggest you walk more upright. That will help. Good night.
Well, is that it?
No, of course not. I'm thinking.
Maybe a fresh cup of tea will help.
Yes, all right. Thank you. Right, now let's see here. Holmes and Watson retire to their respective bedrooms. Watson puts on her nightgown. Her nightgown? Miss Hudson. He puts on his nightgown. Right. Now we head into the third act. Oh, how do I begin this? Oh, it's all a muddle. The characters, the dialogue, and the narration. Oh, the narration. I need to rest my eyes, think about this a little. Oh, the narration. Morning slowly crept in through the thick rain clouds, and the lounge at the Baskerville Hall lay deserted. Although the body of the maid had already been picked up and taken into town by the coachman, nobody dared be the first to step into the crime scene. But then Dr. Watson entered. The long hours had taken their toll on Dr. Watson. He felt tired and lethargic.
Who's saying that?
Watson scanned the room with a suspicious eye.
Is anybody...
Then Irene entered.
Morning, Dr. Watson.
She said.
Who said that?
I don't know, it's this voice. It's narrating whatever we're doing.
Watson swiftly moved towards the window, but not before eyeing up Irene's legs as he passed.
Dr. Watson, is what the voice says true?
Your shoes. I was admiring your shoes.
Lied Dr. Watson.
How do you know I'm lying?
Watson asked the air.
I didn't ask the air, I asked you, you voice.
Said Watson.
Could you please stop saying said, Watson?
Employed Watson.
Where's Mr. Holmes?
Asked Irene, with little interest in Dr. Watson's reply.
What? I am interested. Well, you see,
She began to stutter. Her face turned red. She began wishing she was in a safe place, at home, in bed, with her dolls.
pay no attention. I haven't any dolls.
73 in total she had accumulated over the years.
It doesn't matter if you have any dolls.
Something about Irene Adler's vulnerability had opened a door in Dr. Watson's heart.
No, it hasn't.
For in his childhood, Watson too had played with dolls.
No, I didn't.
At that very moment, Watson began picturing himself pouring tea for his dolls.
I'm not picturing that.
But he was.
I'm not.
But he was.
No, I'm not.
But he was.
No, I'm not, and that's the final word.
But he was.
Ah!
It's really okay, Dr. Watson.
Irene assured him, although secretly she thought he was a weirdo.
Now see here, Mr. Voice.
Senor Doyle!
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I must have dozed off, Miss Hudson.
Here, a telegram arrived for you.
Oh, it's just as I suspected.
What is it?
Oh, it's from the Strand magazine, you see. I sent them a sample of my Holmes adventure, and they're interested in publishing it. Oh, I better get on with it then.
Oh, would you like me to help?
No, I think I'll do the writing from now on. Wouldn't want any more of my characters turning into women, thank you. Right, now where was I? Ah, yes. Watson and Irene were discussing the tragic death of the maid Maria when Holmes entered the room with urgency.
Where is it?
Where's what?
A package, a note, a telegram, some form of communication from the supposed killer.
Mr. Holmes, I don't understand.
Good morning, all. Have the police arrived yet?
No, not yet.
A package was left at the doorstep for you, madame.
That's quite a big package you got there.
Aha, just as I suspected.
How did you know?
It's quite common for the killer to want to make contact.
It's addressed to you, Irene.
I'm scared.
It's okay. We're all here. Behind you.
This was Hugo's.
Yes. I remember him wearing this at the opera.
With a tuxedo, I assume.
No. Just this.
It must have been very cold.
Careful what you're doing, Miss Hudson. Do you have to do that now?
Well, if I don't do it now, then when? You certainly won't do it.
Miss Adler, what else is in the box?
A few things. These cufflinks.
And I assume these cufflinks are Mr. Baskerville's as well?
On the contrary, my dear Watson, it's engraved JVS.
JVS?
Yes, JVS. Jeeves.
Jeeves!
Jeeves?
Cheese? I mean, Jeeves?
The butler did it!
What did I miss?
So Jeeves was the murderer?
If Jeeves was the murderer, then who murdered Jeeves?
That's true. And don't you hate it when someone answers their own questions? I do.
Miss Adler, what else is in the box?
So it was Irene.
You see, but you do not observe. The distinction is clear.
But I don't understand.
Indeed, Watson, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Now, my opinions may have changed, but not the fact that I am right. Circumstantial evidence is a very tricky thing, you see. It may point very straight to one thing, but if you change your point of view just a little, you'll find it pointing in an equally uncompromising manner into something entirely different. So, Mr. Blackwood, tell me everything you know. I've got 10 seconds to spare.
No. What do you need to know? Irene has a gun. Jeeves brought in a box with his own cufflinks and Mr. Baskerville's scarf. All evidence points to a conspiracy between the three of them.
Mr. Blackwood, how dare you!
What a swing, Adler. Indeed, there was a conspiracy, and Jeeves was a part of it. For he was not just a butler, but a man of medicine as well.
You mean he had a cold?
No, I meant he was a doctor.
Doctor?
Yes.
No, I mean that doctor.
Oh.
What makes you say he was a doctor?
Words put together to form a sentence.
When we were surrounding the body yesterday, Jeeves described the knife wound stabbing as through the trapezius muscle. Now, the linguistics of anatomy is not common to the general public, let alone a butler. No, this term belongs in the medical field, and hence, Jeeves was a doctor. I'm afraid that the moment that he revealed himself, he was as doomed as that ant.
What ant?
That ant.
But being a doctor, what does that mean?
Patience, my dear Watson.
So, one of us is the murderer.
Well, I will hardly include Dr. Watson and myself, as our entire reason of being here is to find out what happened to Mr. Baskerville.
How do we know that you're not involved in some kind of cover-up?
Think what you will, but let us be sure that besides Maria and Jeeves, we are the only people in this house. So, Miss Adler, am I right when I say that we are the only people in this house?
No.
So there is someone else in the house?
No, I'm sorry. I said no, meaning yes.
No meaning yes. Listen, I want a straight answer. Is there someone, yes or no?
No.
No, there is, or no, there isn't?
Yes.
Yes to which no.
I'm getting a headache.
Perhaps I should just get us some tea.
Nobody move, because there's still some confusion to whether there is or is not someone else in the house.
I told you there isn't.
There isn't any confusion, or there isn't anybody else.
Either. On both.
Just give me a straight answer.
Certainly. What was the question again?
Is there someone else in the house?
No!
Ah. Good morning, Inspector Lestrade.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. And Watson!
This is Miss Adler, Mr. Blackwood.
Oh, I see. And who might you be, sir?
What? Is he kidding?
Mr. Kidding. And what is your relationship with Mr. Baskerville?
Hey, Mr. Doyle! Mr. Doyle!
What is it this time? What is it you want, boy? I'm busy.
What's all the noise?
Oh, it's just one of those irregular street boys.
Tell him to go away.
I can't do that. These kids are my eyes and ears on the streets. I get most of my ideas from what they see and hear.
Well, bring him in then.
I can't do that. I wouldn't want to disturb my writing. It would disrupt my flow.
Tell him to go away.
I can't do that.
No flow. I get it. What do you want me to do about it?
All right. I've got the entire story in my head. I'll dictate, you write. But remember, you must write everything I say.
All right.
What's that? Say again, boy? Interesting. He says another dead body's been discovered in Whitechapel.
Are you ready?
Oh, yes. Now remember, exactly what I say.
Okay.
Lestrade approached Mr. Blackwood with caution. He said, "How long have you been staying here at Baskerville Hall?"
How long have you been staying here at Baskerville Hall?
Blackwood replied, "A couple of weeks."
Couple of weeks.
Lestrade then approached Irene and said, "Oh, crap, my trousers are wet."
Oop, crap, my trousers are wet.
Do you have a towel?
Do you have a towel?
You're not helping.
You're not helping.
Anyway, Lestrade took a side glance at Blackwood before sitting down on the couch. No, wait. He stood by the door. No, he sat on the couch. Watson slowly moved towards Irene and said, "What? I can't hear. Speak up."
What? I can't hear. Speak up.
Watson said, "If Mr. Baskerville does not return, where will you go?"
If Mr. Baskerville does not return, where will you go?
Irene replied, "Wait.
Wait.
Have you got a loaf of bread?"
Have you got a loaf of bread?
She moved towards the window, feeling sad, and said, "Oh, bugger the bread. Tell me about the body."
Oh, bugger the bread. Tell me about the body.
I suppose now I shall return to London.
I suppose now I'll return to London.
Holmes interjected with, "Then stop wasting my time, you little brat."
Then stop wasting my time, you little brat!
Kids.
Kids.
Right. Let's see what you've got.
Right. Let's see what you've got.
Messy. Very messy.
Messy. Very messy.
Oh, it's like a monkey has done it.
Oh, it's like a monkey has done it.
I can't do anything with this.
I can't do anything with this.
Stop! Stop writing! Stop! 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 Stop!
Stop! Stop writing! Stop! 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 Stop!
What's the matter?
You're doing more harm than good, and you're still writing Watson in as a woman. How long has this been going on, eh? You know what? Thank you, but I must insist that you leave. Ouch! Why did you hit me with the chair?
Because I can't lift the table.
I live in a madhouse. Right. Irene seemed nervous as Watson continued to question her.
Well, answer the question.
Ah, good to see you're back to your old self, Dr. Watson.
Whatever do you mean, Holmes?
I believe you were just about to answer the good doctor.
It's a simple question, Miss Adler.
Ah, but it isn't.
What do you mean?
What did you last ask me about perspective?
I seem to remember asking how it was spelt.
No, after that.
No, my mind's a blank.
Of course it is.
What's that, Holmes?
Nothing. I was just saying that you're the type of person you would use as a blueprint to build an idiot.
Ah, thank you.
Perspective allows me to see things from a different point of view, a different theory. And do you want to know what that theory is, Miss Adler?
Certainly not.
Well then, there are two ways we can do this. The easy way, the harder way.
And what's the second way?
What I just said. Never mind. Inspector Lestrade, would you and Dr. Watson be so kind to search Mr. Blackwood's pockets?
What? Now, I'm not going to tolerate this sort of
You
behavior
were
in my...
saying, Mr. Blackwood?
Come
What
on.
I meant was...
Hands up. What do we have here?
That's a Colt 44. I should know I have one just like it.
That's not mine.
And why do you have this?
Impersonating an officer, eh?
I'm afraid to ask why you have these.
Whoa, frisky.
I don't believe it.
What is it?
That's not mine.
He's got a picture of your wife.
What? Gentlemen, calm down. I'm sure this is an embarrassing moment for you, Lestrade, I'm sure. But I was hoping that you find some comedy in this situation. After all, you're the one that married her.
That's true.
Mr. Blackwood is not interested in Lestrade's wife, that I'm sure. But he is interested in, however, Miss Adler.
So she's having an affair with Blackwood?
Ah, right on time.
Who is it?
We don't know. The door is shut.
Good evening, Mr. Holmes.
The coachman.
Very good, Watson. What gave it away? The fact that you saw him walking through the door? How are you, my good man?
Restless. I'm recovering from a cold, but I'm resilient.
That I have no doubt. I know I could count on you.
Yes, I'm reliable.
Why is the coachman here?
Yes, and where's his coach? Otherwise, he's just a man.
I brought him here so he may lay out the facts. Now, have you ever seen this man before?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I would remember.
Aha! So you said you arrived here a few weeks ago. So how exactly did you make the 6-mile journey here to Baskerville Hall without the aid of a coach?
Well, I took another coach.
Ah, but he's the only coachman in town.
Correct. I work all the roads, local and regional.
When I first met Blackwood, I saw some reddening on the back of his neck, perhaps a rash, or perhaps new skin healing from some sort of surgery.
You dropped this.
Oh, thank you, Miss Hudson. I was looking for this.
Surgery?
Yes, Watsons. Surgery done by a doctor readily available on the premises. Jeeves the butler.
So what if he had some minor surgery done by Jeeves?
By Jeeves.
I don't see how this has any relevance.
You see, but you do not observe. The distinction is clear. Irene and Baskerville have been involved for over a year, and yet there have been no romantic involvement whatsoever. Now, I'm sure Baskerville would have tried his advances, but due to his horrid disfigurement, would result to no avail.
It's true, I was never attracted to Hugo. We were just good friends.
The rejection would have led him to do something drastic.
What, like become a politician?
Okay, perhaps not that drastic, but it would lead him to alter his appearance. So he went under the knife held by Jeeves, who reconstructed his face. That will explain the red rash I saw earlier. It's his skin healing.
Inconceivable.
Yes, that word.
Upon meeting Blackwood, Miss Adler will quickly fall in love with him. After all, he had the manufactured good looks and inside knowledge of her. It would have been easy for him to make her fall in love.
It's like he died and then was
Resurrected.
Almost. So Baskerville becomes a missing persons case, and Blackwood goes on to romance Miss Adler. But the moment that Dr. Watson and myself were employed, he knew that his secret would have been found out. So he tried to hire Maria and Jeeves as assassins. My guess is that they tempted them with money. They tried to eliminate us on the train.
This is a lot to take in.
Yes, perhaps I should draw it out for you later in crayon.
Ah, thank you. That would help a lot.
So, upon the failed attempt of our lives, he had to get rid of those who knew the truth. So he started getting rid of them one by one, starting with Maria and then Jeeves.
So why Mr. Baskerville, did he go missing because Blackwood killed him?
No, Inspector Lestrade. Baskerville never left the house because Baskerville is Blackwood.
So he shot Jeeves. But how? Irene had the gun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, how?
Actually, there is no sign of a gunshot wound, but he is most certainly dead.
But there was a sound of a gunshot.
Yes, to frame you for his murder. But why? And how? That is the question. What is this?
Where are those plot pages? Miss Hudson!
You yell, Senor Doyle?
Have you seen my notes?
What do they look like?
They look like notes.
All these look like notes.
Yes, but these were on yellow paper.
I not see yellow paper.
You're still writing Watson in as a woman. Please stop doing that. I need those plot pages. Without them, I have no motive or no murder weapon.
Maybe I go check hallway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to need your help. After all, the play is called Sherlock Holmes and the Missing Script. So we're going to require a motive and a weapon. So let's start with the motive. Why would Mr. Blackwood frame Irene, the love of his life, for murder? Serious or silly suggestions are welcome. Anybody? I believe we all agree that it's because she stole his banana. Let's move on to the murder weapon. The motive was deprivation of a banana, and the murder weapon was a toothbrush. Let's move on. What are you doing?
Just looking for you notes.
Never mind, I've got an idea. Holmes continued his investigation.
Holmes, how did...
You were saying, Watson?
Yes, Sherlock. How did Jeeves die?
It has become apparent to me that the weapon used in this murder was none other than a toothbrush.
Really? Please explain.
Certainly. Do you see how white his teeth are? There must be some fluoride in there. So the weapon used must be a toothbrush because the murderer had brushed his teeth and then stabbed him multiple times in the throat area.
That is brutal.
Absolutely. A toothbrush. Who knew?
Extraordinary.
Unbelievable.
Remarkable.
This is all just a wild accusation. It's as if you had merely plucked it out of a crowd.
But why, Holmes?
I'm glad you asked, Watson. The motive was because Miss Irene here, Mr. Blackwood's banana.
Wait, so he...
Yes.
And she...
Perhaps.
And they...
No.
So he...
Probably.
But he...
Exactly.
Yes. It all makes sense now.
So, Blackwood is responsible?
Indeed. Perhaps we can hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Wait, they have a talking horse?
It's true. I wanted to get back at Irene for stealing my banana. Well played, Mr. Holmes.
Indeed, I was hoping for a battle of wits, but you appear to be unarmed.
That's it. You're coming with me. Coachman, if you could help me.
All right.
Inspector, handcuffs.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. It's off to Scotland Yard with you. Coachman, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm going to need a ride to the station.
Of course, I can hardly reject.
I hope we're not disturbing your plans.
I can reschedule.
That was quite a case, eh, Holmes? And very dangerous at times.
Danger's my middle name.
And what about Irene?
I don't know her middle name.
No, I mean, what becomes of her?
I'm sure this will not be the last we see of her. Surely she will find another victim to hustle.
What's that, Holmes?
5 orange pips.
And what do you see?
Everything. It is my curse.
The end.
Senor Doyle!
Oh, Miss Hudson, I've finished.
Oh, really? I was just beginning to like this Senor Holmes and Dr. Watson, but now it's all over.
No, it isn't. This is only the beginning. But I must find a worthy villain.
This painting arrived for you.
Oh, lovely. It's a gift from my friend, Mr. Bell.
I never saw you as the arty type.
Oh, please, Miss Hudson, there's so much more to me than novels and criminology. I like art.
I'd hardly call it art. It's like a horror show.
It's because you're looking at it one-dimensional, then it wouldn't look arty. But if you take a closer look, then you'll see it's more arty. Moriarty.